In the start of the movie, we see an interview on the TV. Dr. Crippen talks about her groundbreaking discovery of a genetically altered, measles virus that may target cancer cells. According to her, every patient who has received therapy with this novel remedy has so far recovered. 3 years later, the movie leaps forward and we get a glance of New York. The city has turned into a bleak, lonely place devoid of people. The city is quiet, the highways are lined with abandoned automobiles, the roads and buildings are covered with grass. It appears like the end of the world. Robert Neville, along with his dog, Sam, is driving through the empty town. He nearly crashes when a herd of deer leaps across his path. He chases after them quickly in an attempt to catch one. He catches sight of the deer, and as he's about to pull the trigger, a lion beats him to the kill. The lion and its family also approached the scene, and Robert is unsure whether to shoot them or leave the deer alone. As the sun sets, Robert's watch alarm begins to beep, reminding him that it's time to leave. Robert's house is visible. It's a detached American home, but it appears to be in the heart of a conflict zone. To cover up their scent, he bleaches the stairs. Sam and Robert are watching recorded TV shows and eating processed cuisine on what appears to be a typical evening. After taking a bath, Robert locks and secures all windows and doors with heavy steel shutters. Screams and screeches reverberate throughout the home as he sleeps with Sam in a bathtub with a weapon nearby. In his nightmares, he sees Sam, a puppy, his wife Zoe, and their kid Marley. As an army doctor, Robert chose to remain in New York alone and try to halt the virus while wearing a military uniform. When they inform Marley that they are on a vacation, she notices that her parents are upset and attempts to reassure them by holding up a butterfly. Robert wakes up to confront his lonely reality once more. After working out, Robert descends to his home's basement, which resembles a fortress. Here, he maintains a modest yet advanced laboratory. Using his immunity to the virus, he has been working on a vaccine to combat the virus that has killed out the majority of the human race. In an attempt to find a workable remedy, he has administered the vaccine ostensibly. They all exhibit aggressiveness with the exception of one that behaves like a regular mice. After noting this mouse, Robert decides that this chemical remedy is suitable for human trials. Later, Robert gets ready and visits a video rental business, where he converses with some mannequins he has arranged. This sole purpose is to keep himself from being consumed by the madness that comes with solitude. There, Robert notices a female mannequin that he wants to know more about. He tells Sam that he will speak with her tomorrow. Robert goes to the fields to harvest corn. Later, Robert goes to some adjacent condo apartments to look for supplies. He finds 2 cribs in one room and a bed wrapped in plastic wrap in another. As he understands the loss of loved ones, we can see the anguish in his eyes. Robert has produced a radio message that is broadcast on all AM radio channels, stating that he is still alive and would be waiting for any survivors daily at noon by the pier. Later in the day, the duo plays golf aboard a military aircraft, when Sam suddenly notices a deer and they both pursue. Despite Robert's attempts to stop him, Sam pursues the deer as it dashes into a ground-level ancient structure. Sam refused to leave the building, so Robert went in. Aware that the structure may contain dangerous creatures known as dark seekers, Robert moves gingerly through the poorly lighted chambers, keeping a low profile. Robert is careful to conceal his flashlight so as not to wake any potential seekers lurking in the shadows, who are sensitive to both light and noise. Although Robert wants to get out of the building, he finds it difficult to be without Sam, his sole remaining friend. After seeing the body of a deer and being pleased that it is not Sam, he resumes his quest and unintentionally walks into a room full of dark seekers who are asleep. He carefully tries to escape without awakening them. When Robert notices Sam hiding, Sam makes a gesture, as though to say that someone or something is there. It is an infected dark seeker. As it suddenly leaps out of the shadows to attack Robert, he shoots at it, killing it. However, the sound only awakens more seekers that begins to follow Robert and Sam as they begin to rush out of the building. They flee through a window, and some of them cling on Robert, but they perish the moment they come into contact with sunlight. Robert then creates a trap by shattering a bottle of blood to capture one of the infected, and the trap works. In order to conduct experiments, Robert returns the captured female dark seeker to his lab. He used a treatment that effectively reduced the mice's aggression. The woman exhibits encouraging results at first, but she quickly plateaus. After giving her an adrenaline boost to bring her back to life, Robert keeps improving his serums in the hopes of discovering a remedy. Robert had a dream that night about the day he and his wife attempted to flee New York during the pandemonium of the evacuation. He relives the terror and fear on the streets as residents of the city attempt to flee before the infected take control. At his daughter's request, Dad brings Sam along. As he seats his family on an aircraft, the dream ends and he awakens. He hears news from the past about people who had early onset rabies-like symptoms but were treated by Dr. Crippen's vaccination. He chats to Sam about a potential birthday celebration while fishing. While driving, Robert discovers that his mannequin, Fred, has been relocated. He gets angry and shoots Fred. The identical trap he had laid for the Dark Seekers the day before was set for him by the infected that evening. Robert passes out unconscious after hitting his head while in the trap. 30 minutes before dark, the beeping from his watch alarm wakes him up. He eventually slashes himself free as darkness descends, but he stumbles and his leg is struck by his knife. The leader of the infected shows up with infected dogs, and they charge at him, but are unable to approach due to the light barrier. However, as the final slimmer of light vanishes, the dogs attack. Sam fights off one of the dogs to protect him. After shooting the infected dog dead, he scoops up the heavily wounded Sam and places him in the car. They arrive home shortly, and Robert carefully places Sam on a table and administers an experimental vaccination to him. When Robert notices that the canine's hair is falling out, Sam tries to bite him, as the vaccination failed and Sam has transformed into an infected. So Robert is forced to murder him by strangling him as he fights in his arms. Robert bids farewell to his one and only buddy as tears fell down his face. After burying Sam, he then goes to greet the female mannequin at the video rental shop. He pleads with the mannequin to respond but to no avail. Robert feels suffocated by the gloom. He resolves to confront every affected person in a fit of anguish. The infected charge at him as he puts up a dummy at the pier. He speeds his SUV into the throngs of sick people that prowl the streets at night. His SUV was flipped by the infected, and he almost goes off the edge of the pier and crashes. The leader of the Dark Seekers is ready to kill him when a dazzling light strikes him, frightening them away. A voice asks where Robert's residence is, so he gives out the location and advises to visit just after dawn. Robert blacks out. He continues to dream about the past while he is unconscious, this time involving a helicopter. His wife and kid were supposed to flee New York. However, the infected attacks and overwhelms a neighboring helicopter as it takes off, crashing into the one carrying his family. When he awakens in his home, he sees sutures on his knife wound and Shrek playing on the TV. He takes a gun and heads to the kitchen, briefly believing that it is his family. Robert is perplexed since he hasn't interacted with others in a long time. He was saved by Anna and Ethan, both of whom are also immune, and went to look for him the day before after hearing Robert's radio broadcast. Anna prepares them bacon and powdered eggs for breakfast. As they feast, Anna describes a plan to travel to a Vermont colony of immune survivors after leaving New York. However, Anna and Ethan are alarmed by Robert's insistence that everyone is dead and his lack of belief in the existence of such a place. Robert lashes out, scaring the duo. However, he apologizes to Anna when he has calmed down, but he still won't go. He then shows Anna his lab and gives the infected lady another serum injection. Anna begs Robert to accompany them once more. She responds with "trust in God" when he asks how she knows Vermont has a safe zone. Robert became agitated and informs her of the infection's facts, such as the fact that fewer than 1% of people are immune, 90% of people died from the KV virus, and the remaining 588 million individuals became Dark Seekers. Suddenly, he hears screechings outside. Seems the Dark Seekers had followed Anna back the night before when she saved Robert. Robert is aware that the infected are targeting his home. In order to keep them at bay, he promptly activates his defenses, utilizing lights and exploding automobiles. However, in spite of his efforts, the infected manages to breach through the shutters and into his home. When one of the infected begins to breach the roof to let others in, Robert kills it and withdraws to the lab in the basement with Anna and Ethan. Robert shuts a bulletproof glass door to keep the infected out of the lab. Just then, Robert learns that the infected woman he had caught and tested has begun to return to her human self. The infected leader begins smashing at the glass, creating butterfly-shaped breaks. With this, Robert recalls the butterfly tattoo on the infected female, and it finally dawns on him that the Horde are here for her, under the influence of their leader. He tries to reason with them and the leader understands him. He takes out the body of the now recovering female as Anna quickly shuts the door. To revive her, he gives her an adrenaline shot and the leader is excited. Picking her up, they all flee the scene. The following day shows Robert, Anna and Ethan, all driving towards Vermont with the antidote in hand, broadcasting a message about their location and their destination, saying there's still hope. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like button and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos like this. Thanks for watching.